coming into today, really not too much going on. So pre-market plan, I want to see if Apple can pull back, fill the gap that it created yesterday, turn 255.55 into support, that channel into support. That looks good if we can do that. Um, and it's a very big gap up play, right? If we can hold this and push back to the upside, it's a gap play because we closed around 258.80. So looking for that on Apple. If we fall under 255.55, hands off there. I want to see if Intel can hold this 5130 as support. Next key level here is all-time highs. This is the all-time high play. So we'll see what sets up here. And then Tesla, right? Just keep it on the close watch. Either a pullback short off of 355 or a break and retest under 343.35. As for the market itself, we don't have any red folder news coming into today. Dow dropped 10 points coming into today. And you can see here fairly neutral. Market really didn't do anything overnight. Technically, we do have a gap. The previous day close was 588. We are holding right the bottom of this range, 587.85, as resistance here on the Qs. So, as long as we can stay heavy under that, right, we're no longer in a range. So the only thing I would like on the Qs is a break and retest under 581.10. But you can see both of these inside bar day. Qs is actually starting to sit in a range in between 587 and 585 here, as you can see. So one, two, we're going on day three of just sitting in here. So that's just something to be mindful of. But on the indices themselves, such as buying cues, really nothing there that I like. I would just be watching them just to see what the overall market is doing prior to taking a trade. Tech names, really nothing going on. So really just watching Intel and Apple coming into today. If nothing really sets up here, kind of just hands off. We'll see if Tesla can open strong. Really depends. Obviously, it's in a downtrend, but it gapped down. The previous day close. Uh, I need to go to, let me go to 15-minute chart. Looks better here, as you can see. So Tesla ended up gapping down. Previous day close is way up here around 352.80. So gap down play. So if we get a gap and go under 343.35, that looks good. Or pop and fade off of 355. You can see Intel showing a little bit of relative strength pre-market. So we'll see what we can get here coming into today. Yeah, Tesla looks pretty heavy here on the 15, so we'll see. There's definitely relative weakness on Tesla, but obviously that's in a downtrend. Okay. Not really spotting relative strength on Intel anymore. Because you guys remember, like, I kind of don't want to go long into the supply. This is all the supply area on Qs. So it doesn't really make sense to go long into 587 unless I can spot very strong relative strength compared to the market. Let's see if Tesla can fill this gap and hit 355 for us. If Intel sets up, I'm looking at strike price, the 51 calls. 51 calls on Intel. Pulling back with Qs though. So, yeah. And looking at the 51 calls here on Intel. I'm long Intel. I took that. Oh, spreads are terrible. Spreads are terrible on this. Yeah, spreads are terrible on that. Might have to cut that. It's like instant drawdown. The heck? Definitely traded this name before. Yeah, that was terrible. Let's see. I played at the money. Definitely want to take some off into this high there. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, right? That was like an instant drawdown. Yeah, that's a dot. Did you guys catch that? That was textbook. Yeah, that was textbook. Wow. Yeah, it's just showing relative strength compared to the market. I don't really trade this name much, but it was just a higher time frame setup. Watch Tesla here too, breaking retest under 343.35. It's crazy. Apple gave that whole move back up. Yeah, that was textbook on Intel. Wow. Just scaling out into these pops here. Yeah, okay. Drive safe, Jason. Good to see you, bud. Yeah, this thing's still pushing. We're at 53.11. This thing respected 51.30 on the dot. On the dot. That was a dot. Most likely would never play this name again. I was instantly in drawdown, and I played at the money. Delta was good, volume was good. That was terrible. As soon as I went long, I was in drawdown. Yeah, next key level here is all-time highs on Intel. We're already above the previous day high. That's the previous day high. You got to break and retest over that. This looks good. Trying to de-risk, like the trade can't go red on me. Let's see. Yeah, crappy price action on spying cues again. Just sitting in the same spot it was yesterday. That's crazy. Apple went up to 262.16 yesterday, and we're sitting at 251.40. It gave back this entire move and some. It's absolutely wild. I was able to get this momentum push in my favor here on Intel, but never touched his name again. Break even on the rest. About to cut this. Yeah, I'm out of these. That was a weird name. That was a very weird name. Ended up getting this very strong move. That was a big move. We went from 51.30 up to 53. I'm around this to 30. That was a decent move. Like hammer stick candle right off of that. That was nice. That's wild. Let's see here. Nothing on Amazon. Apple's still tanking. See what the market's doing. Yeah, SPY. Q's making some new lows here. Let's see here. Let's see what SPY and Q's can do. Like I said, I don't know if we will, but I do like Q's under 581.10. That is a trade I do like. I don't know if we'll get that today, but we'll see. Nothing on Amazon. Let's see. Kind of just what you're dealing with here on Q's and SPY. Still just like this inside bar day. Q's is holding this PDL. So we're just sitting in here now between 587 and 581.10 on the Q's. SPY's a little bit heavier right now than the Q's. Trying to break under the PDL. I think if we do that, maybe that can help Q's pull back here to 581.10. So SPY's still making new lows on the day. I think we'll make it a Intel's definitely trying to hold over this. I don't really care to re-enter this. Nothing on Tesla. It did have a nice trendy day yesterday, so I'm not too surprised. Um, I'm kind of down with Intel. I'm watching Amazon here. This thing is flirting. It's been flirting with 212.80 at the top of this range. Let's see. Only thing I can possibly set up that I like is Tesla under 343.35. We'll see how heavy SPY stays. If that can get under 652.20. Oh, drawdown is like I was instantly in the red. So you're just in drawdown. Because I don't really play Intel. I took it because it was a higher time frame setup. I thought I was being conservative by playing at the money contracts, which I was, and their weeklies. But as soon as I got in, I was instantly down. So obviously I got that big push in my favor right off the bat. That definitely helped, but those contracts did not hold. I don't know what that was about. The spreads were tight, the volume was there. I got in, I got out, but I was instantly down. So that's what drawdown means. All right, watching Tesla here, and whenever there's like some good price action in these conditions, definitely want to take advantage of it. Tesla would be April 10th, end of week expiration. Because it's actually showing me relative weakness compared to the market. Right now, that's 342.50 puts. 342.50 puts on Tesla. Hughes and SPY making new lows here. SPY's a little heavier than the Qs. April 10th, 342.50 puts here on Tesla. Respecting this 343.35 on the dot. So that's what you want to see. See if we can get a retest here. Still need proper displacement. So I'm not really counting this candle right now as a retest. I need a good displacement candle closure under this Q level here. Body of the candle closed barely. Yeah, like 10 cents under. Let's see. Hmm. Yeah, Tesla's trying to hold this 343. Obviously not looking to go long. I just need proper displacement under this key level here before I look for a retest. I am looking at Apple as well. Apple's just straight downside. We're already at approaching 248. So I'm not going to fight the trend. If Apple wants to give me a break and retest under this, I'm taking that. As for Apple, definitely end of week expiration on this name. I would play at the money Collins on Apple. At the money. So As of right now, those are, I think, the 250 puts. Still looking at Tesla. I just need proper displacement under this key level. Yeah, let's see how this candle closes here on Tesla. Same strike price. Tesla's definitely trying to hold this. Hmm, let's see. Hmm. Tesla's like holding this 343. Market is having a low day bounce as well, so that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, keeping spot bouncing here. Let's see here. See what we do. Yeah, Tesla like sets up on this 84% rule. I don't mind the reclaim entry, like playing that break here. Same contracts. Market's like heavy. Q's is making new lows. Plus, it's really trying to hold. If market bounces here, I might call set a set of bounce. Strong intraday support around this 242.70. Yeah, the Q's is like very heavy right now. Yeah, the Q's is like tanking. These candles are wild right now, like these fake wicks. And also watch Q's here. Q's is approaching at 581.10. I said I'd like a short under that if it gives us that opportunity. And Tesla's like being a little stubborn here. But watch Q's here. Q's is approaching this 581. You can look for this break and retest under 581.10 here on Q's. The more conservative play is like 2-day expiration. Within this market, I really do not care to touch zeros. Either Q's is going to like cause everything to bounce right here, or if it breaks this, we're going to see a flush. If Tesla could keep making new lows on the day, we could really just start to trend. Apple's exhausted. Intel is really doing its own thing. It's not really following the market. It did really well holding 5130. Starting to see a little buyers here on the Qs at this 58, 581.10. Yeah. Yeah, you're seeing a flush here. Like I said, if Qs breaks that 581.10, you'll start to see this flush. That's what you're seeing right now. Yeah, crazy. And there's even Apple might set up here. Crazy. Let's see if we can get a pullback here in the Qs. This is a range break on Qs. So I'm cool with that. Don't know if we will, but can actually watch SPY too. Yeah, SPY is just not breaking. 652.20. So you could definitely watch SPY here. Let's see. SPY, today's the 7th. I will look at like the April 9th puts here on SPY. Any proper displacement. Down there on the Qs. We'll look at the 652 puts here on SPY. 652. I like Qs more than SPY because you can see Qs still needs to retest. So it's like if Qs pulls back here to retest, that could really stop us out on SPY. So ideally, I would really like a trade here on the Qs because that's what's really moving everything right now. But like if Qs continues lower, you can see this retest right now off of SPY. I just don't like it. I will want a little bit more displacement here on the SPY. We're basically going short at the lower day, so I don't really like that. Qs is like the better play here. You got a big break here, so let's see if we can get a retest on the Qs. That's the better risk to reward play. See what I mean? So we can see if Qs would give us one. I'm looking at April 9th expiration on Qs. The 580 puts. 580 puts on Qs. Let's just see if we can actually get a retest here. Hmm. Either Qs is going to set up or it's just going to be a peak and fail. Or we're just going to reclaim the bottom of this range. It's a pretty big 15-minute wick. You can see SPY's holding 652.20. Just need a little bit of a deeper pullback. I'm not playing zero, so I'm not really worried about these contracts being aggressive. If Q's like continues lower, you can look to play the break, a momentum break here on 652.20 on SPY. See, this is like what makes it tricky. Why you just got to be patient. Because if this holds, then that can lead to that. If that does that, then that can lead to that. So right now, I'm really just focused here on Qs. Like I said, the 580 puts on Qs. I do like these wicks above. Just need a little bit of a deeper pullback here. Let's see here. Because if Qs doesn't give us the deep enough pullback, the break on SPY, the break of 652.20 is valid. Yeah, still watching Qs here. Qs is either going to retest this or it's going to reclaim due to SPY, one or the other. Or we may just chop. So you can see SPY wicking off this on the 15-minute to 652.20. So we'll see. Sure. See what happens here. Do we reject this? Let's see. Spy's just looking pretty strong. That's the only thing. And that's Spy just looks pretty strong. It's the only thing. Kind of see like this bear flag setting up. Mhm. There's a couple of ways this can go. Like this may squeeze over. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to squeeze back over. Really depends on Spy. Yeah, Spy's a little stronger here. Yeah, it was just a nice squeeze. It's pretty much just reading the Spy. You can see Spy wicked on the 15 minute right off the 652.20. Like I said, we're just like starting to range here. So this hold was Spy on the dot, holding that 652.20. That was a good squeeze for sure. It looked good. This is why, like, I always wait for the deepest pullback because you look at that, you're like, okay, you could risk right above that. That's a pretty wide stop. And then you get stopped out. All right, it's a bigger stop. So It's a good skip. Definitely wanted it, but not gonna force it. I know you missed Intel, Noah, but you didn't miss like it was a good trade, catching this, but I would never trade this name again. Never. I don't even think I would have came out green if I didn't get such a very big, strong momentum move in my favor. I was literally like instantly, as soon as I got in, I was already down like 5, 6%. Never do that again. It looked good. Like it was a higher time frame setup. Idea was right, just no follow through. But you can see on the intraday, it's doing very, very well holding this 5130. Never touch that crap again. Squeeze on the market. Yeah, that would have been a terrible fake out, bro. Saw this hammer stick candle, right? You think, all right, perfect. I was just reading SPY. Like SPY really held this really well. So it was just a good squeeze. Good little bear trap. Bearish on the intraday, but you can see just respecting key levels on the dot. SPY is a little stronger than the Qs. Tough. I think that might be all she wrote, bro. That was like really the main thing I was looking for. You can see Apple's starting to break, but Apple is just dead. Like the momentum's dead. Apple's crazy. Look at this. Bro, we gapped up 255, went to 262. We gave that entire move back, and now we're all the way at 248.30. That's wild. That's actually madness. Like you can see Apple breaking right now, but the momentum is so dead. It's already had such a big move. Yeah, nothing on AMD, just trash. Didn't even come close to breaking a range. NVIDIA, trash. See, that's why I'm just treating, AMD and NVIDIA as a no trade zone. Like, look at NVIDIA, it's just ranging. Then it's sitting in between 178 and 174. Like, there's no trade in there. Yeah, Intel's quick. Yeah, both these just held the range. We did good reading this. That's a hard read. Like for most traders, beginner traders, that's a very hard read because you have to understand one or two things. Like one's doing something for the other. So the way I was looking at this is, if Hughes comes back and retests this, and we get a hard rejection, you can play the break here on 652. Right? You can play the break there because that's Hughes rejecting this, which means, okay, cool, we'll continue to move lower. But then you have to look at it as, all right, if SPY is holding this and we come back and retest this, I don't really like that because now we start to base above this and we see some upside. That's going to lead to a fake out here on Qs and then continue higher. And that's exactly what happened. You got this hammer stick candle, right? It looked really promising. That's why you ideally want to wait for your candle to close. Kind of saw this bull flag setting up. Ideally would have waited for the bull flag break, bear flag, excuse me, if I wanted that. So this was actually fairly a tough read. Like one's doing something for the other. You just got to figure out which one it is. And it was really just SPY. SPY pulled back, held 652.20 as support. And you can see that led Q's doing the pretty much the exact same thing. Tesla set up, second entry. All right, Tesla definitely set up on the second entry. You got the break, and then on the reclaim entry, right, you got that flush to the downside. So that was pretty solid on Tesla. Still pretty tough. Apple's just so extended. You got the break, got the retest. Ideally, if you wanted Apple, the best trade would have been at the top of the range. And you can see we literally just broke through this. We just ripped through this. Never got a retest, just straight downside. Straight downside. So weird day. Intel setup on the dot. Really can't complain there. Really cannot complain there. You can see it has relative. I don't know what's going on. I do know I'm never trading the same again. I'm never trading the same again, bro. That was crazy. As soon as I got in the trade, I was negative 1,000. I got paid on it, right? Because options pay you more on momentum. So I sold into that momentum push, that premium pop, break it a high day. We broke the previous day high. This was a good move on the contracts, 51.30 up into 53.27. That was a really good move on the cons, but I'll never trade that name again. Never. So don't let FOMO kick in, even though it was a winning trade. Don't let FOMO kick in, bro. That was nah. It's all good. Let's see here. Hmm. Let's see here. Yeah, bro, I think that just might be all she wrote. Intel setup, Tesla setup on the second entry. It's got a retest here on Apple, but like Apple moves so slow on the underlying. And you're playing weekly contracts and it's already just so extended. To me, it's not a high probability setup based on where it's sitting. Like for continuation, you already got this very big move. And like I said, the only other thing I liked was coming into today was Qs under 581.10 for like this range break. If you go here on the 15, what are we, 2 for 2 on the week? Yeah, we took Tesla yesterday. So far, a good week. Uh, if you go here on the 15, see, this is what I really like about Qs. Now, remember the break and retest happens on every time frame. So this was a big breakout on the daily. This was last Thursday. And today, retesting, break, retest. But we're sitting in between 587 and 581. We're not back in the channel on the higher time frame, which is good. We're staying heavy. So this has been a good supply area, rejecting every time we push into it. That's what we want to see. So today I was really just looking for right that continuation, 581.10. That looked really good. And then you're kind of just playing this range break. You're under the previous day low. That looks good. That's a high probability shot. Um, just did not get that because SPY ended up holding. Tesla, every pre-market plan has really been playing out here on Tesla. You got to know like the type of entries. Second reclaim entry was solid on this, but you know you're looking to go short. So Tesla's just moving lower. We'll see what happens in the near future. Not going to worry about it, but we gap down. So that's what I said pre-market. You know, if it's a break under here, it's a gap and go continuation play. This was the previous day close, 352.80, and well, we opened at what 348. So can never really count Tesla out because even if it gaps up or down, Tesla can on average move $15 to $20 in a single day. So that's why you kind of always want to focus on Tesla, and it pays very well on the underlying. Very, very well on the underlying. Like, see, this thing's staying heavy. You get this push, and this dip just gets bought up right back. And now we're already back near the lower day here. So, yeah, definitely gonna call it here. It's a quick work day, like only an hour. Um, yeah, it was just really Intel. Intel was like the main one. I just like that it had relative strength on the market. Amazon, yeah, nothing on Amazon, just still sitting in this range. AMD, terrible, still in the range. Nvidia, still in the range. Uh, Tesla, yeah, that's what I said. Like Tesla's the only name, like the only name that's just trended. Like Tesla looks beautiful, if I'm being completely honest. Just on the dots. Trade we took yesterday, it was the same trade we took Thursday. We still need to retest that. So we'll see. You know, if we have a day where we pull back, still need to retest that. But Tesla's just gone. Like, look, it's still making lows on the day. Crazy. Sellers are definitely in control on this thing. But yeah, definitely gonna call it here. Yeah, just gotta keep the ball rolling. Don't let FOMO kick in. Market's still trash. Market is still trash. We need Qs. Spying Qs to do something, right? Because now I'm getting to the point where, well, I'm already treating it as such, but you know, 587 and 581 would just be a no trade zone. As you can see, today's Tuesday, so we'll see. But the last 1, 2, 4 trading days, we have been stuck in between these two, right? Just sitting sideways on the Qs. Yeah, Tesla's solid, bro. Like Tesla's like a swing trade type of name right now. Let's see if the break and retest traders under PDL caught a trade today. I'm curious. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty solid. If you're able to catch this off of PDL, I definitely wouldn't have taken that. Like these big wicks, hell no. But higher time frame key level did its job. That's all that matters. Then it's tough, right? You kind of get stopped out prematurely here. You go short into a daily support level, right? This big bounce is not a coincidence. But you can see once you get the break and retest under your higher time frame key level, these just never got invalidated. You're still in this. Crazy on Tesla. All right, brother. I'm gonna call it. Drive safe. Get to work safe. Uh, I'll break down this trade later. Don't let FOMO kick in. You didn't miss anything on Intel. Like Intel was a good one, but definitely can't take that on a small account. So I'm never touching that name again. Other than that, I will see you in the morning, fam.